Hello. I don't think most people realise how important a resource Ukraine is to all of us. I knew it was important for quite a while, but I certainly, until this awful situation broke out and I did some research into it, I had no idea how important it is. Now, the fact is, the situation doesn't look good for Ukraine. It really doesn't look good. And Russia has more men, more materiel. It's just got too much. I honestly don't see how Ukraine is going to come out of this well, but I don't see how well Russia's going to come out of it either. This is a real lose-lose situation. Well, so I just want to go through it a little bit, because it's been said that Russia without Ukraine is a very big country. But Russia with Ukraine is an empire. It's as important as that. And the situation actually started in November 2013. When the EU, I did promise I was going to talk about the EU. I had a go at America and its domination of NATO and its constant pushing eastwards. And I said that was part of the reason. And I did say the EU was the other part of the reason. And because in 2013, the EU tried to court Ukraine and the president, what was his name? Yanukovych, who was a Russian puppet, although technically Ukraine had been separate from Russia. The president was just a Russian shill, really. And he rejected the EU deal. Now, the EU shouldn't have made that deal. They could have made some sort of distant trade association, but this was getting too close to Russia's door, and the Ukrainians knew this. And when they got that idea of joining the EU, a lot of them were very enthusiastic about it because they wanted to be part of the West, and the EU was dangling this morsel in front of their faces, this delicious treat of being a Western nation and facing westwards. It would have been nice for the Ukrainians, but it wasn't a good idea. But that's the way the EU was, because the EU was at the time concentrating on constant expansion. Anyway, so the people got out into the streets and protested, and Yanukovych, was that his, yeah, that's his name. He responded with a great deal of heavy-handed violence, and he got a lot of support from Russia while he was doing that. However, it didn't stop the Ukrainian people running him out on a rail a couple of months later, which, as I said, Yanukovych damaged a lot of Ukrainian people, but they prevailed in the end. So, having lost its governmental puppet in Ukraine, that's when Russia invaded the Crimean Peninsula to get control of that and some real estate around it. So you see, the whole idea the Russians had was of controlling Ukraine. And since they couldn't control it, well, they had to actually grab some bits of it. They also encouraged some local insurgents in the eastern part of Ukraine, and they're terrorists, and these were the guys who ended up shooting down that passenger airliner. So again, it has its effect on all of us. But the point is that Putin obviously always regarded this as unfinished business, and especially as something he needs to do to support his idea of fortress Russia. And he has been turning Russia into a fortress for several years now. He wants Russia to be self-sufficient within its own borders. He's tried to make clients out of surrounding countries, including Germany, of course, by making them reliant on Russian gas production. And he wanted to... and you can't make Russia into a fortress without a food and raw materials supply, and Ukraine, for sure, is that resource. And it's an important... they say it's the size of Texas, but a lot of Texas is not suitable for agriculture. Not easily, anyway, not without a lot of intervention. Most of Ukraine is just fertile ground, and a lot of it very flat. It's a tremendously easy place to grow things. And the flag has been said to be, it's blue and yellow. There's the sky above, the blue sky above, and the yellow fertile ground beneath it. That's a literal picture of what the Ukraine is. And that yellow, the ground, is gold. It's gold in almost every way, and not least because it produces sunflowers. I'll get onto that in a minute. And a lot of American sources talk about Putin being mad. It's amazing how they call anybody they don't like mad. Trump was mad, wasn't he? Oh, definite signs of cognitive decline with President Trump, yeah? And Putin, definite signs of cognitive decline. I heard somebody say he had probably some sort of dementia or something. No, the person who is in cognitive decline is President Biden, you Democrats and you MSMs. He's the way he just gave a State of the Union speech in which he confused the Ukraine with Iran. I mean, oh well, that's another subject, isn't it? Anyway, Putin is definitely not mad, coveting Ukraine. It's been called the breadbasket of Europe for years. It's tremendously productive, and it's not just grains. Ukraine produces half of all the sunflower and safflower oil in the world. Half of all the sunflower and safflower cooking oils in the world. India uses, it imports 70% of its sun oils from Ukraine. 70% of cooking oils. Well, not cooking oils, but sunflower and safflower oils. And southern India uses little else for cooking. Do you realise the ecological effect this will have? Well, first of all, India's going to suffer, but it'll also increase the use of palm oil as a substitute. And we all know how ecologically disastrous palm oil is, and how it's contributing to the deforestation of Malaysia and the destroying the habitat of the orangutan, which is now a stressed and dying population because of all the hacking about that's going on in that part of the world, in the forests that used to thickly populate those areas. Oh yeah, this is going to be a worldwide economic and ecological disaster. I think, I'm not sure about that, but it's Libya, I think, imports something horrific like 70% of all its wheat from Ukraine. Well, with the war going on, they're not going to be bringing in wheat, are they? And then you have all the minerals stashed away under that fertile soil, stuff we need to keep our high-tech industries going. There's manganese, there's mercury, there's titanium, there's nickel, a whole load of other things. No, Putin is not mad to want to keep control of this stuff. He's not mad at all. It's eminently sensible from his point of view. And we have to remember that. I'm not saying he should be doing this. I'm just saying that's why he's so determined. And he's not going to stop until he's got it all. I don't know what's going to happen to the poor people of Ukraine. And the Russians are using the bombing of residential areas to demoralize the people. Can you imagine running away from your house and hiding in some hole in the ground and then coming back sometime later and discovering everything's gone? Granny's photos, it's all rubble. Like in my case, I have one little chair that my mother got from an aunt years and years ago after she died. And that chair has passed down from that aunt to my mother to me. And, you know, up in smoke, the piano, the family photos. I mean, think of all the things you lose. It's not just the material things. It's how you live your life. And this is what Putin is doing to the Ukrainian people. I don't know how he expects Ukraine to recover if he bombs the people out of their lives and their livelihoods. But maybe he's just thinking of denying it to other people, which is also a vicious but sane idea. All right, well, yeah, that's my little homily about the EU and why Putin is so very determined to mould it to his ideas, to his control. Yeah, you never know. He may have this idea of knocking everything down and chucking out the Ukrainian people, and then he can build back better, can't he? Oh yes, and I nearly forgot. I'm Grannyopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. My Twitter, Gab and Parler handle is at Grannyopteryx. And when I upload a video, I always let you know on those platforms. Please like, click the thumbs up, share, and make sure you're subscribed to my channel. And, well, I'll see you next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Grannyopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.grannyopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share, share, share.